Hello guys and welcome to Game 2 of Round 1 of the crew's official League of Legends 1v1 tournament. It is a double crew member 1v1 today. In the bottom blue corner we have DuffmanDanny playing Olaf, and in the top right hand corner playing the purple side we have Gizmo the Great, which is obviously our very own Gizmodude. And they both went for very sustainable openings. The problem is Danny's kind of has the right idea. Danny is really going to be focusing on lifesteal this game, and it's definitely a good thing that he is, because lifesteal, especially against somebody like Lux, is great to, you know, shrug off, say, ultimates and stuff. Like, Gizmo wants to try and chunk down Olaf, or Danny or whatever. He's going to try to chunk down Danny as much as he possibly can. The problem with doing that is if Danny can just build lifesteal, or build a large amount of lifesteal, he can get all that health back reasonably quickly. I mean, Gizmo's kind of done the same. He's also gone for a very sustainable build. He's gone for the Philo Stone, as well as the Fairy Charm. But I think the problem with Gizmo's is, not only is he not really going to be dealing any damage, but health regen and mana regen isn't necessarily that important in a 1v1 tournament, especially on Howling Abyss, mainly because you get health pickups, and when you get the health pickups, they also give you mana. So it's not a bad idea, but it's not really as effective in a 1v1 as I think it would be in an actual 5v5 game. Obviously, they've both gone for pots too, so they've both been reasonably smart, made sure that they've spent all their money the first time coming out. If we look at their spells, Danny's gone for Flash Ignite, which is really good on Olaf, because, you know, if he can flash straight onto Giz has very little armor. I think he's on like 30, like 25 to 30 armor. So if Danny can get on top of Giz, he is just gonna chunk Giz down really quickly. Whereas Giz has gone for heal as well as Ignite. I think heal's not a bad choice, since Gizmo is going so like passive with his build. Ignite, not really. I would have preferred if he went Flash or maybe even Barrier. I don't really see the point of going Ignite on Lux, not if you're going to play this sustained. So if you have a look at their CS right now, the CS is pretty much even, gold is also pretty much even, and this is pretty much going to be what most of the match is going to be. This was a very close match. When I originally set up this match, I didn't think, I'm not gonna lie, I thought Giz would have had this one pretty handily. I thought Giz has got more experience with the game. They're both the same level. I think they were both level 26 when this match happened, but I just feel like Giz has played a lot more normal games, whereas most of the games that Danny's played are mainly AWAMs, which, yeah, you know, I don't really feel like AWAM gives you a whole lot of experience, since, you know, it's kind of just a one lane thing. You don't really have to worry about stuff like CS and stuff like that too much. But then again, it is a 1v1 tournament. You know, it's the 1v1 map. It is the AWAM map. So I don't know. People can, I guess you could argue that that's not the case. But basically, Gizmo's doing exactly what he needs to do at the moment. He's just going to poke down Danny as much as he possibly can. Try to hit his Qs, try to hit his QW combos. He used his shield quite a lot, and I've never really understood why he does this. I mean, using your shield's good for getting vision, so obviously that's always a good thing. But sometimes he fires his shield at Danny a couple of times, which doesn't necessarily do anything. I think chances are that's probably a preemptive thing. Maybe Giz thinks when Danny gets close enough, he can flash on top of Giz. So I think it might be just a preemptive thing. So a big amount of damage comes down there on Danny from Giz. Basically, that's all Giz can do. Giz cannot, especially using this type of build, such a sustainable build, he is not going to do a whole lot of damage. Therefore, his ultimate QW combo is not going to kill Danny in one go. So his best bet is to just try and chunk him down. Problem is, as I said before, he did go Vampire Acceptor first. He is gaining a lot of health every time he's attacking the minions. And if Danny can just play, I wouldn't say safe, because as Olaf, he really should play aggressively, especially against the Lux, but he can just sit back, he can take his time, he doesn't have to, say, you know, go in straight away, he can really pick his moment. Whereas Giz, you know, he's going to be getting passive gold from the Philo Stone, which, you know, is good, but it's not a huge amount of gold. It really depends on how much he has it for, like, has Philo Stone I mean, whether he's going to decide to sell it at some point, I don't know. I actually wouldn't blame him if he did decide to sell it, because especially with a lifesteal build that Danny's going for right now, sustainable mana and health regen is not completely going to work. I guess one of the positive things for Gizmo right now is the cooldown on his ultimate is reasonably low, so he can hit his QWR combo quite a lot, assuming the Q hits, and the lifesteal, like I said, is extremely good on Danny, but if Gizmo can hit those combos, and if he can hit his Qs enough, if he can be very consistent with the amount of Qs that he hits, he might be able to still kill him, but we will see what happens. If you look at the CS right now, it's reasonably close. So Giz is going to go ahead and drop his W into the bush to get as much vision as he can. That's mainly a big thing that Gizmo has to look out for, is any type of ganks from the bush, because Giz, if Danny can land right on top of him, Giz will have to hit that Q, otherwise he will be in a lot of trouble very quickly. So at the 6 minute mark right now, it's same amount of CS, 3.4k versus 3.5k. Yeah, you're starting to see that the Philo Stone, the passive gold from this Philo Stone is kicking in slightly. Not that big of a deal, you know, 100, 200 gold, it's not going to, you know, it's certainly not going to be a game changer, but it's nice to have a couple of hundred more gold to at least feel that you've got an advantage. Gizmo goes for a Q, doesn't quite hit, and Danny's going to be able to push up to the tower. He don't think he'll be able to get any damage off. Those minions will die pretty much instantly, and I will say throughout this entire game, Giz was exceptionally good with focusing down minions under towers. It's good to see that he didn't try to like go straight for Danny. He did remember to go for the creeps. If the creeps are dead, the tower will focus on Danny, so it is obviously in his best interest to go straight for the minions. Then he goes for an axe toss. The axe toss does miss. Giz also misses his Q. So not a big deal happens. 7 minutes into the game. The CS is pretty much the same. I feel like Danny has much of the map control, which, you know, is to be expected, I think, if you're going sustain against an Olaf. Like, he can pretty much go wherever he wants, and there's not a whole lot Giz can do about it. I mean, sure, he has vision, so even if he goes to the bush or whatever, Gizmo can see it pretty much without any issue, but it's still going to be giving Danny pretty much the ability to roam, and pretty much, even though Gizmo is being exceptionally good with keeping up in creep score, considering he doesn't have a lot of map awareness right now, I think eventually Danny will start creeping ahead in minion count. Excuse me while I sip my tea. Only professionals here, guys, only professionals. Right, I just woke up, I'm tired, I'm thirsty. Okay, so 40 CS2. Gizmo's CS in the 30s, 4.2k to 4.3k, 8 minutes into the game. The ultimate is up for Giz, the ultimate is up for Danny. I don't think I've seen Danny hit his ultimate yet, which, again, you know, his ultimate isn't going to be a whole lot of issue. That was, you know, the flash there was, you know, it was interesting. I mean, sure, I don't think it was worth. There wasn't a whole lot of purpose in flashing out of that. I mean, at the end of the day, with the lifesteal he can gain health extremely quickly back anyway. So Giz, he can't do any damage, and that's very much going to be a problem, because that is pretty much going to dictate the game, I think, unless Giz can get a first blood. I'm actually be very curious about how much gold the Philo Stone is actually going to earn him. So Danny goes in for a kill there. Doesn't actually do anything. The ignite comes straight down from Giz. Oh, Danny stands still. Danny's going in. Danny is still going in. I wouldn't go into that type of fight. He's too close. Giz loses a lot of damage though. The lack of armor or anything really to stop against. The amount of aggression that Olaf has in his spells is insane. But Gizmo will go ahead and grab this health pickup, which is good. Going to put a bit of pressure on Danny. He should be thankful that that W didn't hit, because he would have took a decent amount of tower aggro. And, you know, originally I was interested of why Danny picked Olaf, because I never saw Danny play Olaf before, but apparently it is one of his mains, so it shows how much attention I pay. Gizmo usually plays Lux. He also plays Ari, Oriana. Well, he doesn't play Oriana. He wants to play Oriana, but he hasn't got around to like testing them out, but I think that's somebody who he may play in the future. Ari looks fresh, which I'm debating whether fresh is good in a 1v1 tournament. That is something to be seen. I think we probably will see a fresh at some point, whether it's from Giz or from somebody else. So we are currently 10 minutes into the game, 54 CS, 259 CS. Still an exceptionally close game. Like, these are really close. Ultimate comes down by Giz. Danny will be able to get away. But Danny's got quite a lot of pressure. A good W hits there onto Danny. Danny's really getting chunked down. Danny needs to stay under that tower and wait for the health pickups. The health pickup is actually up on the tower behind him if Danny wants to go ahead and try to grab that. So he's going to go in with his life steal. He doesn't want to go too far in because his life will quickly come back from the life steal. But okay, yeah, Danny's just going to back up again, grab the health turret. It's probably going to go back now for the one behind the turret and grab that one. Yeah, he will. And Danny now is pretty much fine to go in again, or at least he can try to go in again, depending on how good Giz can hit his R. His R will be available shortly. I can't completely tell, but I'm thinking, whoa, Danny's just going to go in. Danny hits his ultimate. He's not going to manage anything. Danny's in an interesting spot, because yeah, he does have full map awareness, but he can't fully engage, because he just doesn't... Gizmo has a stun, and Lux's Q is not the most difficult thing to hit, especially against somebody like Olaf, who really deals a high amount of damage when he's literally point blank in front of you. So Giz's ultimate is up. His ignite will also be up shortly. I don't know if Giz is just going to go in now. Danny's going to back up through the bush, and he's going to be fine. Ignite's going to be available soon. Giz hits the W. That was really nicely done by Giz. Ooh, Danny needs to back up. Danny does back up, goes back into the bush. This commentary itself, like the commentary that I'm giving right now, is not going to be the best commentary, mainly because this is one of the games that I didn't record live. Like, the match itself isn't live. I'm recording over the actual the recording of the match. So naturally, everything isn't as like hyped as it would be. The first kill comes down by Gizmo. The ignite comes off. It was nicely timed there by Giz, and Danny will be down. Now, this is the big issue I had with this fight. The big issue I had with this fight is Gizmo really should have killed himself at this point. Like, I think Danny and Giz both see it as being BM. Pretty BM to kill yourself straight after killing your opponent so you can go back to your base. But I'm going to try to convince them that it's not BM, because everybody else will be... Chances are everybody else will be doing it. So it's a case of I kind of just don't want them to have such a big disadvantage. So Olaf has gone for Ravenous Hydra as well as Impaler. Now, this was my big issue with what Danny was going for here. The Ravenous Hydra isn't a terrible life choice. I mean, the attack damage that he's going to get is definitely going to help him out a big deal to chunk down Giz. I mean, he does have a lot of sustain, but I think eventually Danny might be able to manage a kill with the extra damage, especially against somebody who has little to no armor. But I wouldn't recommend going Impaler on Olaf. I mean, I would go Impaler on Olaf, but I feel like Danny has chosen Impaler far too early. Because the problem with Impaler is, the passive for Impaler is, you gain attack damage equal to, I believe it's 2.5%, if I can quickly check that. I believe it's 2.5%, 1.5% of your maximum health, so yeah, it means even more of a difference. It's going to add attack damage to 1.5% of your health. Now, the problem is, because Danny has picked it so early, Danny doesn't have any health items. And because of that, he's really not going to gain a lot of attack damage from the Impaler. I mean, the Impaler itself will give you not a lot, like basic attack. In fact, it doesn't give you any. I mean, he gets 45 armor, which obviously is not going to help against Lux, because AP. So armor can straight away, that can go out the window, because that's not going to help him at all. Like, what? It's going to help him a bit against minions, but, you know, he's got lifesteal, so minions is the last thing that Danny needs to worry about right now. But Impaler just doesn't give him anything, and it's not worth the 2.3k gold that, you know, could have been spent. I mean, off the top of my head, if he's spending 2.3k gold on something for Olaf, he'd probably want to consider something like Sanguine Blade could have been a great choice. In fact, yeah, Sanguine Blade is definitely a choice I would have went for. Not only is it more lifesteal, but it's also going to give him 45 AD, which isn't a whole lot of attack damage, but it's certainly a lot more than whatever he's going to be getting from Impaler. 1.5% of his health right now. I think Danny is probably on about 2.1k health right now, so he's going to be getting like 25 AD from the Impaler. It's just not worth what he's paying for it. The only good thing he's going to be getting from the Impaler is the critical hit, but because of Gizmo's stun, he's not going to be able to get close enough to really really get the full benefit of that critical hit. 15 minutes into the game now. The CS is, again, really close. Giz has managed to get a lot of CS back after Danny died. 8 gold to 8.6 gold in Gizmo's favour. I'd actually recommend that Giz dies. Like, just let himself die, because right now there's not a whole lot he can do, and if Danny can just continue using his lifesteal and just continue sitting back, he can eventually just carry on pushing up until he can just slowly but surely take out the turrets. Because you can get as much kills as you want, but at the end of the day, if you can't kill if Giz can't kill Danny again, Danny can just play the waiting game and just take out the turrets one by one, and eventually that is gonna win him the game. So here was a great example. If Danny can just sit there and just try to put on some harass, the minions can do a bit of damage to the turret, win some repeat, and eventually Danny will take down the first turret. Ultimate just popped up for Giz. Ignite is also up for Giz. Ultimate Ignite is also up for Danny. Danny currently does not have flash. Giz does not have heal. Q comes down, ultimate comes down, but Danny doesn't particularly care. So Giz is going to have to play defensive. 8.7k to 8.9k in Giz's favour. Nice, a bit of BM there by Giz, trying to bait out Danny to do something stupid, and I think that's actually a clever thing that Giz is trying to do. If Giz can bait Danny into fighting under the turret, if Giz can just hit his Q, then he'll be fine. So here's a great example. The first turret goes down on Giz's side, mainly because Giz can't do anything. He can poke Danny, but it's not necessarily going to do anything. I mean, he can get the health pot, he's got lifesteal. There's not a whole lot Giz can do at this point. Like, Giz needs to die, and he needs to get some AD, and a lot of it. I'd also recommend that he gets some magic penetration, mainly because if he does get a kill, if Giz does get a kill against Danny, Danny should probably go for some magic resist, because obviously Giz will go very heavy on AP. There's no reason why he'd go for anything else on Lux. Another ultimate comes down by Giz. He is hitting all of his ultimates, so he's hitting most of them, so I will give him that. Danny has got on top of Giz. Giz will use his shield. Did he use his heal? He did. Popped his heal. So Giz will be reasonably safe, and Danny might actually need to back up. He might be in trouble. And Danny is just going to back up. Realise that's not a fight that he's going to win. It's 9.7k to 10k. So slowly but surely Danny is getting the CS lead. 134 CS to 120 CS. And I'm not going to lie, this is so difficult to actually do a commentary over, because this is a long game. But I'm going to wing it, because I said I'd commentate over all the crew games, as well as I'd commentate over another random game in each round, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So Danny's pretty much going to go ahead and sit back, play it as safe as he can. Possibly could have grabbed that health, the health pickup there, but he didn't. He is going to hit the axe, but there you go, the Q again. Ultimate goes down as well as the W. That was a nice combo. A lot of chunk down there, but look at the lifesteal on Danny. He's just quickly just going to get it back. No trouble, and huge fight going down here, and Danny is going to take that one pretty handily. The lifesteal really helped there. So Gizmo is going to purchase. He's going to purchase Affine's Unholy Grail. He's also going to get Wabwins. See, this is what happens if you commentate for like a long period of time. You just all your voice, all your tone, all your ways of speaking, everything goes. He's also going to get Wabadon's Death Cap, as well as the Boots of Lucidity, as well as Cage's Lucky Pick and a Blasting Wand. So that's a huge amount of AD now on Giz. So Giz can certainly do a whole lot more damage now. However, he didn't get any Magic Pen. Not that big of a deal now, but if Danny does decide to get some Magic Resist, it's really just going to make it even more difficult for Giz to really do any real damage. Danny is kind of in trouble. Giz goes for the Q, he does miss. I would have actually told Giz to back off at this point because he isn't going to catch Danny, even with those boots. He's just too far ahead at this point. So Giz is going to back off, try to get as many creeps as he can before it gets close to the inhibitor. Did the inhibitor actually already fall? I think it did. The inhibitor is already down, so Danny is really going for the final two turrets. 11.1k versus 11.2k now against 11.2k, 155 CS2, 137 CS. Danny is going to go down. I feel like Danny could have continued there. His flash wasn't up, I guess, and Giz could have went for his Q, so that could have went badly, especially with the amount of CS. Giz is going to go in. Giz is hitting a lot of autos. The Ignite is down. Hit the W. Gizmo gets the kill, but that was extremely close. It's just as well that the W from Giz's W went down when it finally popped when it did, because Giz, that could have been a 4. In fact, that would have been a 4, I think, if that didn't go off. So Danny is going to go ahead and base, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Orb of Winter from Danny, and I'm not going to lie, like I said, this is a recorded matchup, so I already know the result of this game. I have never seen Orb of Winter look so good in a matchup. Like, I don't see a lot of people use Orb of Winter, I'm not going to lie. Orb of Winter basically will give you plus 70 magic resist, as well as 20 health regen per 5 seconds, as well as a passive that will grant you a shield that will absorb up to... What level is Danny at this point? I believe they're both level 18, so that's 180, 210 damage every 9 seconds. So that's a good amount of damage absorbed. That's basically the Q damage from Giz just being absorbed by the Orb of Winter, as well as the magic resist, which is just great really on Danny right now. There's not a whole lot Giz can do. He also went for the Yumu's Ghost Blade. Is it Yumu? I always say it's Yumu. That's basically how it's spelled, so that's what I'm going with. He gets the cooldown reduction, he gets more critical strike, as well as some attack damage, which a bit of attack damage is always good. He also went for Longsword, because I guess he didn't have much money left, and it was pretty much the only thing he could have bought. He didn't upgrade his boots, which, to be honest, isn't that big of a deal. He's basically... I like to think that Danny is playing what I'd like to call a siege build, which is basically, he doesn't need to chase him down. He can literally just play a very long game and just wait for the minions to do the work for him. So Danny is in a really strong position right now. Giz will have to... I can't see Giz coming back from this. Like, I don't think there's a lot Gizmo can do at this point. Danny is going to go ahead and just wait for the minions to do some damage. I love what Gizmo did here. He tried to get the aggro on the super minion and get the super minion to aggro on him, so he can slowly chunk him down before he does any damage to the turrets. Gizmo with some more BM. The first one was justified. That one not so much, because I don't think Gizmo knew that he was in so much trouble at this point. Maybe he did. Who knows? I know at the end of this, as soon as this does go up on YouTube, I'm sure he'll let me know if he knew. I think he probably did. So 166 CS to 165. Gizmo's CS under towers is actually really good. Like getting the last hit on minions under towers. I'd go as far as to say he's probably got better CS than me when it comes to getting the last hit under towers. 12.4k to 13.4k in Gizmo's favour, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. Danny is really far ahead right now. As far as aggro, definitely as far as map awareness, Giz cannot grab any health pickups at this point. This is pretty much the only time where the sustain of health regen as well as mana regen has actually looked good on in this build. So Danny's just going to go ahead, play siege, try to put on some aggression but not too much. He doesn't need to go too far in. Wait for the minions to do as much damage as they can. Giz again targeting down the minions, doing extremely good there. 169 CS to 175 CS. 12.8k against 13.8k. Now at the end of this match, Gizmo never gets rid of Philo or Cage's lucky pick, and at the end of this game, he actually picked up a total of 1.8k from the Philo stone and the Cage's lucky pick. So take away the 1.8k from the gold there, and that's the actual score. It's actually 12.2k versus 12.8k in Danny's favour. Giz throws down a good amount of damage there. The ignite goes down, pretty much everything goes down. I think that was pretty much Gizmo's last attempt to really get a kill, but to no avail. Danny just has the Orb of Winter's back. He's going to gain lifesteal extremely quickly. And there really is nothing that Gizmo can entirely do as far as killing Danny at this point. My tea's cold. I blame Danny and Giz for making this match so long. So the minions is going to go ahead, continue doing the same. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to speed up this. I'm going to speed up this last couple of minutes because, to be honest, this is basically the whole match. He's basically just going to wait for the minions to go over again and again and again. Eventually, Gizmo just needs to back off completely, and Danny will win this game. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. But I want to thank you guys for watching. And make sure you guys watch round 2. I mean, I'm going to be commentating 2 matches from every round. There's 15 rounds in total, so I'm going to be commentating on 30 matches on this channel. Kama Nosuke will also be uploading 15 matches to his channel. They will all be his matches because he requested all of his matches to go up on his YouTube. I'll leave a link to his YouTube in the description, so make sure you check him out. His game against SaffyPie is already on his channel if you want to go ahead and check that out. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the first match of round 2.